Many years ago, in a small kingdom called Anandpur, there lived a poor but hard-working young man named Arjun. His parents had passed away when he was just a child, leaving him all alone in a tiny mud hut. He owned no land, no shop, and had no permanent job. Every morning before sunrise, he would wake up, pray to God, and set out in search of work. Some days he worked on farms, some days he chopped firewood, and other days he carried heavy loads for travelers. Whatever little money he earned was just enough to buy 2 simple meals. Although Arjun was poor, everyone in the village admired him because of his honesty and kind heart. One year, heavy rain continued for 3 straight days, and no work was available anywhere. The last handful of grain in Arjun's hut was gone, and he left home hungry, hoping to find at least one day's work. After searching from morning until evening without success, he sadly began walking back home through a dense forest. Suddenly, an old man with a long white beard called out, "My son, could you please help me?" Arjun turned around and saw the old man standing beside 3 enormous iron chests. The old man explained that he needed to reach the village beyond the mountains, but was too weak to carry the heavy chests. He promised to pay Arjun 10 gold coins if he helped. Without hesitation, Arjun agreed. The first chest was so heavy that he had to use all his strength just to lift it. As they walked together, Arjun asked what was inside. The old man smiled and replied, "My lifetime savings." After some time, they reached a fast-flowing river. The old man said he was too weak to cross it and asked Arjun to carry the chest across first. Arjun carefully crossed the river, placed the chest safely on the other side, and returned. The old man looked at him and said, "You could have run away with the chest." Arjun smiled and calmly replied, "I can never be happy by taking something that doesn't belong to me." The old man remained silent but observed him closely. Then he handed Arjun the second chest and said, "This one contains silver and precious jewels. Whoever owns it could live comfortably for the rest of their life." For the first time, Arjun felt temptation growing inside him. He imagined escaping his poverty forever. But then he remembered his late father's words, "Poverty never makes a man small. Dishonesty does." Those words gave him strength, and he carried the second chest forward without giving in to greed. Eventually, they arrived at the foot of a steep mountain. The old man was exhausted and pointed toward the third and heaviest chest. In a quiet voice, he said, "This chest contains thousands of gold coins. If you run away now, I will never be able to catch you." Arjun lifted the chest onto his shoulder and slowly climbed the mountain. After walking some distance, he looked back. The old man had fallen far behind, and there was no one else around. A dangerous thought entered his mind. If I run away now, I can build a huge house, hire servants, and live in luxury forever. He even took a few steps in another direction. Then he noticed a small temple beside the path. Curious, he stopped. On a stone outside the temple were written the words, "God sees everything, even when the world does not." Those simple words touched his heart. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, and said to himself, "If I sell my character today, I will never be able to look into my own eyes again." He turned around, returned to the correct path, and waited patiently on the other side of the mountain for the old man. Nearly an hour later, the old man finally arrived with a gentle smile on his face. He asked, "Why didn't you run away?" Arjun answered peacefully, "Because character is more valuable than wealth." The old man's eyes sparkled with joy. He opened all 3 chests. To Arjun's complete surprise, they contained nothing but ordinary stones. Confused, Arjun asked, "Why did you lie to me?" The old man slowly removed his long white beard. Standing before Arjun was not an ordinary traveler, but the king of the entire kingdom. The king said, "I have no children and no heir to my throne. For many years I have been searching for someone who values honesty more than riches. Many people have failed this test before you, but you are the first person who refused to let greed control your heart." The king called for his royal soldiers. Within moments, dozens of soldiers arrived on magnificent horses, carrying the royal flag. They brought several real treasure chests filled with gold, diamonds, jewels, and priceless treasures. The king smiled and said, "The chests filled with stones were only your final test. My real treasure has always been safely protected in the royal palace." Then he held Arjun's hand and declared, "From today, you are not only my adopted son, but also the future king of this kingdom." Tears filled Arjun's eyes. He could hardly believe that the honesty of a poor laborer had earned him a royal crown. A few months later, a magnificent coronation ceremony was held across the kingdom. In front of thousands of joyful citizens, the king officially declared Arjun as his successor. Even after becoming king, Arjun never forgot his humble beginnings. He arranged free meals for the poor, forgave the debts of struggling farmers, built schools for orphaned children, and established justice throughout the kingdom. Over the years, Anandpur became the happiest and most prosperous kingdom in the land. People often said, "Only a king who has experienced poverty truly understands the pain of the poor." The lesson of this story is simple but powerful. The hardest battle in life is not against another person, but against the greed within our own hearts. Honesty may not always reward us immediately, but when its reward finally comes, it has the power to change our entire life. Always remember that thoughts become decisions, decisions become habits, and habits shape our destiny. If your thoughts remain honest and pure, your future will also be bright. Never sacrifice your character for a moment of temptation, because true wealth is not money or gold. It is honesty, integrity, and the trust of others.